Indeed, this getup incorporates running shoes and a matching tie. Life is a race, and in the job that I perform from day to day, it requires a bit of flair. I run a program for at-risk youth in New York City, in Staten Island particularly. They are considered at risk because they are overaged and undercredited. They have fallen behind in some way, and our job is to help them catch up, to put them back on pace. In order for me to share a daily experience or a time in a student's life with us, I'm going to need you to maybe imagine a little bit, just a little, depending on how much struggle you might have endured in your life before you reached your own successes. Maybe it won't be that much at all. But what I would ask you to do right now is imagine you're 20 years old and you have yet to get a high school diploma. Imagine you are 20 years old and you have yet to achieve that one big success that makes a lot of us adults, that turns a lot of us into adults. Now, I want you to imagine that your name is Jen Torres, and you are Puerto Rican sassy, and you are brutally honest, and you don't take no nonsense from anyone, and you are 500 feet of fearlessness packed into a 5-foot-nothing frame. And you are so tired of what the establishment has to say to you. And you are used to people talking just to talk. And you've had your last knock-down, drag-out fight with your ma about being a dropout. And you have to make a change. Because those walls, they're the same old worn out. So, you jump. And you take a little responsibility. And you make a move. Now, imagine that the first thing you say to me is, I don't like you. You're too happy. And the next thing that you say to me is, nobody could care that much. Fake. All the while, standing next to a boyfriend who abuses you and walks you down to the building every day. Now, when I think about that young woman, I actually start to get tears in my eyes, so excuse me. So, what I call subliminal spaghetti starts that first time that I have that interaction, where that young woman, she doesn't want to hear anything that I have to say. What I do is, because she took that little bit of responsibility, I start to show consideration. And I work hard at it. Each day, planting another little seed. Each day, throwing a little bit more subliminal spaghetti against the wall. Because, like the first little droplets of water that eventually carved the Grand Canyon, and it only takes a droplet, in the end, I know that that connection is going to be splendorous. So, some more subliminal spaghetti. Because from consideration, I start to show appreciation for every little inch that she takes. Because I know that if I take one part consideration and I add one part appreciation, what I start to get is trust. And all the while, she may not be at all interested. It's that subliminal spaghetti. And after many months of this, suddenly, Jen Torres, she's asking me how I'm doing. She's looking at me as she walks through the doors and saying, Michael, you look stressed. Do you need some help? Because trust, it feels good, doesn't it? And trust, it leads to commitment. It leads to pride, to purpose, to accountability. So, I give Jen a responsibility in which to take. And I tell her, girl, take that sass and turn it into assertiveness. I tell her, take that fearlessness and turn it into persistence. And she starts, and it feels good. And suddenly, Jen is accountable. And suddenly, Jen is helping me help others. Congratulations. You're at your graduation. You have arrived. And the success is shared because success has a common denominator. It has the common denominator of struggle. So, you might not have known Jen's particular successes, those inches that she took, but you know your own. So you understand struggle, and you understand that success is shared. Winston Churchill said that your successes, they are never final. And your failures, they are never fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So, that first day that a young person walks through the door and they see me, they start the process of recognizing that you have to take responsibility. But in shared success, someone is there to help you hold yourself accountable. And where it starts in something that all of us, sometimes we tend to take for granted. Sometimes the hustle and bustle of life gets in the way of being appreciative and considerate of other people's struggles. So, I tell those young people, and I tell you all now, you can't just dream who you want to be. You have to, day in and day out, forge yourself into that person. That takes work. That takes support. I challenge each and every one of you then to this. Do two things. The first is to look inside and acknowledge every single one of your accomplishments, every single one of your successes. Hold them close. Remember what they've taught you. Plot your next destination knowing that when you make a run for it, you are ready based upon all of that calibration. And the second challenge is an even bigger one. Look around and find someone who can benefit from your experience and from your consideration, and be their example. Get them back on track. Help them get to their finish lines. Because shared success requires that you take it, that you hold it, that you know it, and that you show it. Get ready to run. Jen and I will see you out there. Thank you.